In this lesson, we are chatting about the big three, which is a method to get really clear on the specific tasks you need to do in a day that are going to help move the needle forward with your creative business. So I first heard about this method, I think through Michael Hyatt. I can't totally remember, to be honest, but it's really helped me with my own time management and productivity of building my creative business, because I used to do to-do lists that were like 3 miles long, where I would have like 15 items plus, right? And that's always the case. There's always more to do. There can always be more to do. But this method really hones it and refines it so that you only have 3 tasks, 3 main tasks to focus on in a day, as well as in a week, and even in a month. So I'm going to share my screen to show you how you can set this up in your calendar, whether you're using a physical planner or in this case, I am showing you my Google Calendar. So let's go. So the Big Three method is a really handy way to break down your big goals into manageable steps. So to do this, we're going to look at creating a Big Three for your entire year, a Big Three for each month that leads to those goals for your year, and a Big Three for each week that leads to those monthly goals, and a Big Three for each day that leads to those weekly goals. So you can do this either in a paper calendar, or I've recently switched over to using it in Google Calendar, and I'll show you how I do that here. So right now we have the month of September 2022, but when I go over here to tasks, you can see that my Big Three for the year in this example of starting a creative business are to create a passive income stream, to launch a creative business, and then a personal goal to run a half marathon. So something I highly recommend when you're setting Big Three for your year, your month, your week, or your day is to do 2 business-related tasks and 1 personal task or goal. So if these are the Big Three for the year, then we can start to zoom out and move backwards and reverse engineer the steps that we need to take to get there. So let's do that. Let's go to Big Three for the month. So I'll click on that, and you can see that I have coordinated the tasks here to match up with the annual goals. So for this month, the month of September, these tasks are get 25 people on my email list, get up to 10 miles running, and set up business registration. So those 3 tasks in the month are going to lead to the Big Three goals for the year. So the business registration is leading to launching the creative business. Getting people on that email list is going to give an audience for the passive income stream to sell to, and getting up to 10 miles running is going to lead to that half marathon. So if we come back into the month view, what we can do here is we can actually assign a date if you want to. So you can click on this line and select, what I like to do is just the first of the month for these monthly ones. So I have it knowing at the beginning of the month, these are my goals for that month. So like that. Let's do this one as well. Okay, and then we can zoom out, reverse engineer from here. So from here, we want to go into the week. So let's go into the Big Three for this week that's ahead of us. So again, everything is corresponding. So run 6 miles, that's the personal goal for the week. Fill out my LLC paperwork, that's the business goal for the week, and reach out to 10 people for email list. That's another business goal for this week. So this example, this line item here, reach out to 10 people. This is thinking about if you want 25 people to subscribe to your email list, then you want to ask more people than you actually want on the list, because you're going to get some no's. So if we aim to contact 10 people per week, every week this month, that's contacting 40 people, which can lead to 25 people to sign up. So we want to do more than the yeses that we're looking for. Now, if we go back to the monthly view, you'll see how these coordinate and correspond to those monthly goals. So for example, running 6 miles this week will lead to the 10-mile goal for the month. Filling out my LLC paperwork is related to setting up business registration. Reaching out to 10 people for my email list is related to getting 25 people on the email list. Okay, so with this, you can set the date as the week that you want these done. So let's say it's next week, starting the first full week of September. So we can put Monday the 5th for each of these, knowing that this is for the week Big Three. And then from there, we can reverse engineer into the day. So the Big Three for the day, based on this weekly Big Three, would be run 3 miles, building up to that 6 mile, reaching out to 3 people for the email list, building up to that 10, and researching the LLC paperwork requirements for my state. So you can see how a huge goal gets broken down into really manageable bite-sized pieces. Then with this, you can put a date on this. So again, let's pretend it's the start of the week. So Monday, September 5th. And it just makes your bigger goals, your bigger vision, so much more approachable by taking these small baby steps every day. And that's that. When you've checked all of these off and you're moving into the next day, then you could just add a task and do 3 more big threes that are leading to your weekly goal, that lead to your monthly goal, that lead to your annual goal. And that's how I do the big 3 in Google Calendar. You can do the big 3 again in a paper planner, which is what I used to do. But this allows you to really focus on the tasks that are going to move the needle and not be overwhelmed by a giant to-do list every day, and just focus on the 3 essential steps you need to take, including a self-care item. Now, I do want to note, if you want to do 3 business tasks and then 1 self-care item, you can do that. I oscillate between doing 2 business tasks and 1 self-care item and 3 business tasks and 1 self-care item, but I always try to include a self-care so that I'm really integrating the rest of my life into this ecosystem. When we move into the next lesson where I share about block scheduling, we will use this and I'll show you how to place these into your calendar so everything has a time and space to get done. Okay, so now it's time to take action. Make your big 3 for the creative goals that you set for the duration of this program. So you set goals for the 3-month program that we have going together, and I want you to make a big 3 for each month, as well as this week, and for the next working day for your creative business that are leading towards those goals. I have a class on Skillshare that goes really into depth about all of this visually. If you want to dig really deep into this big 3 method specifically, you can find that class on my profile page on Skillshare if you want to learn more of the really detailed ins and outs of how to do the big 3 method. In the next lesson, we're going to chat about time blocking so that you can really be efficient with the way you work. And if you have a busy schedule working another job or multiple jobs and you're building your creative business amidst all of that, this will help you to make the most of your time while still caring for yourself. I'll see you there.